Hello everyone, welcome to our podcast, Cry, Laugh, Eat, Making Friends with Your Emotions. Thank you for joining us. My name is Ruth.
And I'm Helen. So glad you could join us today. We love to simplify emotions and explore how you can make friends with them. The picture on the front cover of our podcast has 6 core emotions sitting beside you with their arms around you. Those emotions are fear, sadness, disgust, happiness, anger, and surprise. And if you've been listening to us regularly, you'll know how we tell you each week that each core emotion has feelings that accompany it. Today, our core emotion is disgust, and the feeling we are focusing on from disgust is discomfort.
Ooh. Can you think of things that make you feel uncomfortable? Is there something about yourself that makes you feel uncomfortable? Or perhaps it's a person, I know some that make me feel uncomfortable, or a group of people that you feel uncomfortable around, or maybe even a specific type of situation that makes you feel uncomfortable, like perhaps you're going to some social gathering where you really don't know anyone and you might be feeling a little bit of discomfort there. So is there actually anything good about feeling uncomfortable, and how can discomfort be called a friend? Well, Helen and I love this song by an Australian band called Little River Band, and the title of the song supports the main message that discomfort shares with us. And the title of the song is Time for a Cool Change. Did that sound DJ-ish? Basically, what we're saying is that being uncomfortable or feeling discomfort is actually a catalyst for change, that it's saying to you, it's time for a cool change.
When we first started doing this podcast, I learned it was time for a cool change. When we first started recording,
it was terrible.
It was terrible. And we would just get stuck, particularly me. I really was feeling discomfort. I had a great desire to do the podcast. That wasn't the problem, but my belief in myself would just disappear in front of the microphone. And I really was getting stuck in discomfort. I had a great desire to reach out to people through our podcast with our simple thoughts, really hoping that they'd help someone. And I had a great desire just to be able to be myself and to laugh and have fun, which is me, as well as think deeply. But I just kept getting so stuck in that discomfort. I had to really just push through it. When I say I had to push through it, I had to learn to be okay with discomfort being there until that discomfort got smaller. And as I did that, each time it got a little bit easier. And then we started making mistakes and bursting out laughing, which are now the bloopers at the end, which are my favourite part. As I did bit by bit work through the discomfort, I grew in confidence.
I love that. And I'm so proud of you, Helen. You're an amazing woman. If you're listening out there, you can see that discomfort and feeling uncomfortable was a friend then to Helen, because it motivated her to challenge herself and to take risks by doing things that made her feel uncomfortable. The lesson for me from you, Helen, is that to do something that's uncomfortable, bit by bit, and keep pushing through that, even if it doesn't result in immediate positive feedback or rewards. It's actually not for anyone else. When you do things like that, you build yourself, you develop your confidence, that experience of doing.
So in our book, Making Friends with Your Emotions, Disgust, the emotion says this: just notice me, evaluate me, and balance me. We're going to explore these 3 things: notice, evaluate, and balance, to share with you a great way of moving through discomfort.
And if it's okay with you, Helen, as we go through each of those 3 things, notice, evaluate, balance, can we also apply it to your experience?
Yes.
As a podcaster? Woohoo! Okay, so let's look at notice first. When we say notice, we're actually referring to notice the alert. Do you remember that in all our episodes we say that each emotion is alerting you to something? Well, this particular emotion is letting you know that something's either unpleasant or unhealthy. But in noticing the alerts, sometimes we need to tune in a little bit more, don't we? To
Yes.
know whether we are being alerted. For example, what's happening to your body when you feel uncomfortable? Does it feel tense? Are your muscles tight? You might even feel a little bit sick in the stomach, or it's not quite sick. It's not butterflies either. There's just this gnawing feeling. And for me, that's uncomfortable. What about you, Helen?
Definitely tight shoulders, tensing up, and it's sick in the stomach.
Yeah, and in your mind, you're just sort of thinking, oh, I don't like this, or no, something's not right here. And all these are physical and psychological reactions that are all part of the alert, and they're all saying something requires your attention. So what did you notice, Helen?
When I was doing the podcast,
with the podcast,
practice,
what was the notice? What was the alert for you?
I definitely started to feel tense.
I remember.
Yes, you will have seen what my body did. I think I tend to shrink a little. I'm not sitting up tall anymore. My muscles have definitely tightened in my shoulders particularly. And my thoughts would be racing. Actually just want to withdraw when I feel like that and hide away. And so that's a big signal to me. There's something happening I need to pay attention to. So we've just spoken about notice. Now we're going to look at evaluate. The first thing is evaluate the situation. And we came up with some questions to ask yourself. Is this healthy or unhealthy? Is this safe or unsafe for me? Is this what I really want? What really matters to me? And do I need to change something? Discomfort sometimes reminds us of other times we've been uncomfortable when things haven't gone very well. These wonderful questions we talk about, evaluate, can really help bring yourself back to the present moment and ask yourself things that can really give a clear idea of what you want. It can help you put discomfort in your pocket rather than right in your face, stopping you doing the things you want to do. For me, realizing that, it's like, okay, I can get through that. Is it healthy? Yes. It's only unhealthy if I stay in this awful feeling that's growing and getting distorted. Is it safe? Yes. Is this what I really want? Yes, doing a podcast was absolutely what I wanted. It's part of the work that Ruth and I want to do, to reach out to other people. Is this what really matters to me? It mattered to me to be free to be myself, and it mattered to me to follow a dream and a goal that I have.
Yeah, we really wanted to, like you said, Helen, help anyone, just help everyone if we could. So when you evaluate your situation and you answer all those questions, it leads you to the third invitation from discomfort, which is to balance things. So what do we mean by balance? Do we mean stand on a tight wire?
Don't fall off.
Don't fall.
Isn't that sometimes how it feels, though, when we feel the discomfort of an emotion? It's like we are on a tight wire, and if I fall off, I'm going to make a big mess of myself and everything around me. Balance is about getting a clear perspective, isn't it?
Very much so. And in that perspective, it's about balancing your choices with your values, so that the choices you make are choices that are based on what really matters to you and what you really want and what you want to become.
Then you can determine, is there something you need to change? These are Ruth's words. Feeling uncomfortable is the catalyst to creating something new. I love it. New doors don't open without a little discomfort first. New opportunities, anything we learn to do usually starts with discomfort when we don't know how to do it very well. So if we want to experience new things and create new things and create ourselves more, there's going to be a little bit of discomfort, and that's okay. When you feel discomfort, whether you make the choice to change something that needs to change or not, there will be consequence. Every decision leads down a pathway to results. So if you choose to not move through discomfort, there will be results at the end of it.
To not make a cool change.
Yeah, if you don't make a cool change, there won't be a cool result.
Actually, one consequence of not changing anything is something I experienced as a vocal teacher.
Oh, Yeah.
I had quite a few students throughout the years that struggled because they felt uncomfortable with the sound of their own voice. And we can all relate to that. I don't like my voice on the podcast, but it's the voice I've been born with. Well, these students didn't like the sound of their singing voice, and they would try to imitate other celebrity musicians. And so instead of accepting their primal sound, which is your true voice, they would continue studying the whole 3 or 4 years, feeling uncomfortable. Some of them would drop out. And some of them even felt disgust with their voices. After a performance, they'd go, "Oh, that was terrible. I just don't like the way I sound." What could have made a difference? What could have developed their confidence? What could have helped them to become a confident singer? Just a mental change, as simple as that. Just one change. Change the way they thought about their voice by accepting their sound as unique in this world.
So the great question to ask yourself is, what are the consequences of not changing anything? To wind up our episode today, if discomfort was your friend and it was sitting beside you with its arm around you, what would it say to you?
Go on to our website, squugz.com. That's SQUGZ. SQUGZ, squugz.com, where you can buy our book and you can look at how beautiful we are, and you can look at all the other things that we have to share with you. And remember, when you feel uncomfortable, it's time for a cool change. Please don't sing that. Thank you.
Goodbye.
Thank you. See you next week.